Chapter 2. Toulouse, 8th of March, present day. Somewhere other than the cellar I just died in. A sentence I end up using more often than I really should. I heave in air, filling flattened lungs that have forgotten how to inflate. They had one job to do, damn it, the lazy sods. Mind you, as they've been dead for a while, I suppose I can let them off. My eyes snap open by force of will as I shoot bolt upright. As the lenses start getting their groove on, bringing things back into focus, the round face of a balding fellow looms above me, midway through snapping on disposable surgical gloves. He looks about as shocked and terrified as one would expect upon seeing a several days old corpse suddenly sitting up. I, meanwhile, continue my forward momentum, snapping my forehead to connect between his eyes with a satisfying crunch. The look of fear morphs steadily into glazed confusion before he slides to his knee. I rub at my frown lines as nerve endings in my brand new second-hand body fire up. A quick pat in the appropriate places confirms I'm male again. While female incarnations do happen, they're rare. With my reacquired manhood trying to climb back up into my body because of the freezing mortuary air, I swing my legs off the table, and with only the most minuscule of momentary wobbles, regain my feet. Let's pause here. With me cold, naked, and hardly in the most dignified of postures, and I'll tell you a story. There's not time to tell you everything, but perhaps a little background is a good idea, so I'll tell you a tale that could begin with once upon a time. You know what? As it's mine to tell, I will do. I like fairy tales, even though this one doesn't end like they do in modern times. More like a Brothers Grimm original. But anyway, once upon a time, in the south of France, there was a religious group whose beliefs became the latest craze sweeping the Languedoc. They were called the Good Christians at the time, although nowadays the term Cathar is used. And they had some beliefs that the established church thought were pretty wacky, like vegetarianism, reincarnation, and dualism. 2 gods, 1 good, 1 evil. Guess which one they thought made the world. Then there were the beliefs we had, yes, I was part of it, that the church considered downright dangerous. Beliefs like equality between the sexes, tolerance for other religions, and that perhaps priests should concentrate on living humble, morally spotless lives rather than trying to amass wealth and power. I'm pretty sure the last one was the straw that broke the camel's back. The church showed all its accrued Christian values by launching a crusade against us. They spent 100 years wiping us out, along with everyone who'd ever supported us, creating the Inquisition as they went, which is, I'm pretty sure, not entirely what Jesus Christ would have done in their shoes. Back then, I was a good Christian perfect. A priest. As happens to most of us, I died. Although how I died is a stranger tale than most, involving dark magic during that terrible, bloody crusade. What's even weirder is that it didn't stick. Instead, I woke up in the nearest dead body, and I did so every time I died, for over 800 years. Time changes a man. I might have been a perfect once, but nowadays, well, let's just say I don't think anyone's likely to come to me looking for moral guidance. Better off asking a magic 8-ball. Or smoking one, maybe. As I stand up, my feet seem to stretch, my legs enlarge, and my body becomes defined by centuries of martial arts and street fighting rather than channel surfing and TV dinners. Looking in the mirrored aluminium lining the sidewall, I see my original bronze, hawk-like features staring back. Deep, brown, practically pitch-black eyes quirk sardonically. My hair is short, kept cropped by preference. Thankfully, the magic seems to recognise that. My curly locks might look fabulous growing out, but they're too convenient for enemies to grab hold of. I look like I'm in my mid-30s. I'd say that's a more accurate count of the number of lives I've lived, except I burnt through 30-odd bodies in my first couple of centuries. How many times have I died since? I lost count long ago. My dark Mediterranean skin is a natural result of centuries of Spaniards intermingling with North African rulers and Gallic northerners venturing towards the mountain. Occitans of my era were closer, both geographically and spiritually, to our cousins on the other side of the Pyrenees, and I blend easily into the cultural mix of modern-day Toulouse. I'm assumed to be from the Maghreb, or have dual heritage, or else hail from Gitan travelling folk. And in a way, these are all the case. More precisely, my ethnic mix predates such distinction. Looking at myself in the burnished metal, I see the same physical form I've worn, time after time, life after life, since I died. Is this really the body I have now? Well, yes and no. The magic definitely reshapes it little by little, but I don't get it all straight away. I look like myself, fully, sure. But underneath it, my physical tone remains that of an unfit, late-20s male who would struggle to walk further than the nearest takeaway. Thankfully, with my hectic, death-defying, or often failing to death-defy lifestyle, that will rapidly adjust. It's an accelerated process, all tied into my reincarnation magic somehow. The only difference I've noticed when I come back compared to my first life is a slight change of height to keep up with evolutionary differences over the years. As a nifty bonus, I come back without the scarring, amateur sigils, and loss of most bodily fluids accompanying my latest death. Personally, I just accept it. Cleverer minds than mine have tried to unravel the mystery without success. For me, looking like myself makes adjusting to a new body easier to manage. I'll take that as a win. Thanks very much. Maybe the magic is just responding to how I see myself in my head, reshaping my new body to fit my self-image. Call me vain if you want, although maybe not too loudly. Insulting powerful magicians who can make your eyeballs boil in your face is rarely a good survival tactic. Right, I mutter to myself, well aware and long past caring that it is a sign of encroaching madness. Cold-cocked, one innocent bystander should keep me safely anchored. I don't know if it is my overactive imagination, but I feel like I can sense the comfortable weight of sin on my soul keeping me tied to the mortal plane. You might think, after 800 years, I'd be ready to let go and give it a rest, and honestly, there were a few times in my many lives when I felt ready to call it quits. Problem is, when a cathar perfect stops being perfect, there's no happy afterlife waiting, no giving the wheel of Dharma another spin. The soul turns to dust on death. Gone. Obliterated. I broke my vows, sinned, willingly. When I finally die, once and for all, I'll cease to be. End. Finito. I'm not ready for that. Not yet. So I have to make sure to never get too close to being perfect. I crack and roll my shoulders, wincing as the muscles perform a Mexican wave from left to right and back again. The stretching helped settle me, though. I turn my attention to the unconscious heap next to the table. My first job is to verify he's still breathing. And no, I didn't hit him hard enough to do any serious damage, but his romantic entanglement with the floor could have come with additional complications, so I give him a proper once over. He seems to have escaped relatively unscathed, apart from chipped upper incisors and impact bruising to the left temple. If left untended, it'll stain the side of his head in an impressionist seascape's vibrant greens and blues. Pretty, but painful. Like a rose's thorns, or reality TV stars trying to act. Summoning the enamel shards to my hand with a thought, I carefully reconstruct his tooth casing. I heal his tissue damage part way, enough to be believable he fell without causing him too much pain past his initial waking up. Sorry, Pascal, I say, patting his cheek. The poor sod always seems to be on duty when I die. I swear I don't check his work schedule beforehand. Maybe he's a workaholic, or my dying just syncs naturally with his roster, but I have to say, I've started finding his presence comforting. Like waking up to be greeted by a friend. Only one that you headbutt, rather than say hi to. I force muscles, screaming in protest at being press-ganged into action to haul a dead-weight coroner into a more comfortable position. He'll wake up, assume he slipped over, and then continue with his day, blissfully ignorant that he is one corpse down. I can always pull what Aisha, a dear friend, calls my Jedi mind tricks on mortals when needed. But there isn't any need. The body, being forgotten, is an integral part of my reincarnation magic. No effort required on my part. The funeral will be closed casket, the families will ask no questions, and the misplaced body becomes Paul Bonham, wandering the Toulousan streets once more. Pascal won't question the situation any more than to sigh and make himself another coffee or, considering the clock on the wall says we are past midday, a pastis going light on the water. It's strange. Mind magic is normally bad news. This, though, seems like something else entirely, just one more of the endless enigmas around my continued existence. I want to stress again, though, reincarnating, not body stealing, damn it. No matter how much Aisha enjoys pointing at me and screaming every time I turn up in a new one. I make a slight gesture to open my etheric storage space, an invisible storage locker that follows me everywhere, if you will, and take out one of several burner phones I stashed in there. Tapping in Aisha's number from memory, I let it ring 3 times, hang up. Ring back for 4 rings, hang up, then call back again. I sigh at the questioning tinny squawks vibrating out of the speaker. Look, I say, just get over to Perpan Hospital's morgue and pick me up. Yes, again, yes, I know. I'm less than happy about it too, but we can save the berating for later. I smile, with all the friendliness of a mob boss, discussing late repayment options. Priority at the moment, we've got a shit wizard we need to fuck right up.